Right. Welcome RootsTech 2025.
Yes, I'm Janice Gilliard,
Sharikana Feliciano.
and welcome to Speak On It, History and Genealogy Conversations with Janice and Cherikana.
Live from RootsTech
Yes.
in Salt Lake City. So we are here with our guests,
Courtney McGreer.
And
Dante Eubanks.
All right, welcome to Speak On It. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us today. All right, so I'm nosy. Where y'all flying this from?
I flew in from Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay, nice.
I flew in from Baltimore, Maryland.
All right.
and we're from New Jersey.
Yep.
Yes,
We're from Jersey. I got in last night.
and we are excited to be here at RootsTech. And the theme of the conference is Discover. And so we found out last night that Courtney and Dante, with Dante's assistants, made a major discovery at the Family History Library. And so we're here to talk about that a little bit. And I know it's my fifth time participating with RootsTech and Cherikana.
It's my first time.
First
Yes, yes.
Hey.
And Courtney,
This is my third time.
and Dante, what number is this for you?
8.
Wow. So I'm with some experts here. The OGs of RootsTech. So I'm the newbie. Now, I flew in last night, so I don't know the full story. So I'm hearing it for the first time, and I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah.
And it's some background on it.
I called Courtney to thank her for recommending a local store. And she shared a little bit with me about the success that she had at the Family History Library and how Dante helped her. And so we're here to talk about that. So, Courtney, can you tell us what your question was?
Okay,
Or inquiry was?
My inquiry was, I needed some assistance. My mom was given her father's name by my grandmother. So she knew of some of the family members, but did not know the rest. So my search was to actually try to confirm that that is her father. So DNA is out there, but not yet. But just to try to find where he was, because she was given the name and that he lived in New York. So then I went to Dante and I was like, how would I go and try to find this? Because I've done some of the research on Ancestry. And I put his name in and I was having no look. I found maybe like 2 documents, but it wasn't enough detail to tell me, okay, I'm on the right track.
Right, right.
So then Dante came in.
That's resident expert.
So with that, I said, hey, let's just do a general search. And she said, well, how do I do that? What should I put in there? I said, okay, put his name, put his birth age with about a 10-year range based on her grandmother's age. I said, and then put, he was born in South Carolina and lived in New York, but then also any event in Greenville. And let's just see, and then put that he was Black. And let's just go from there. She hit enter and voila, the list of documents came up. The first of which we looked at, and she had looked at before, was the World War II draft registration card.
Okay.
And it showed his actual birth date, which was 1921.
Yep.
Showed that he was born in Spartanburg.
Yep.
What?
And it had a very important name on there. And a lot of people don't look at is the nearest relative who will always know your address.
Yeah.
And the name was Mrs. Ever Durham.
Which was his mom.
And it showed her address. And the funny story with the address, she said, what does RFD mean? I said, well, RFD, I said, that's rural. I said, and then district. Oh, I forget what the F is for. And then in the conversation, she said, fire. I said, yes, the rural fire district, number 1, because back in the olden days, in rural country towns, you didn't go by the city, you went by the district number. They created the Royal Fire District numbers based on how they responded to local fires.
Something to David, let me just interject with a question. Had you heard the surname Durham before?
No.
Okay, I love it.
So it's interesting too, because sometimes when you use that feature on Ancestry with like putting more information, that can sometimes be limited. But in your situation, that was the key.
Well, it was the key because, like you were saying, to your point, I was putting in a lot of information because I was, okay, Edgar Durham, let me first start out with Greenville County because apparently that's where he was at that particular time. So I did put in Greenville County. I had no date of birth or anything like that. I was putting Greenville County, Black, male, and, all the things. which limited me.
Mhm.
So I wasn't getting a lot of hints. So then with his help,
You had the best
Dante,
touch.
he had all, well, here's the thing. Every time we were trying to get onto
Oh, yes, I was
Ancestry,
saying that, yeah.
we were getting internet interruption connection. We
Oh,
kept
God.
What
getting
did
out.
Dante
And
say?
Dante
Dante
said,
said,
I have always said, anytime you are on a path to a major discovery, IT issues, interruptions, you drop something, spill something. I kept saying every time, we're
Look at
we're
that.
destined to discover something.
Look at
And
and then I left. I was there and I left and I had to leave for an event, but I believe I was supposed to leave so that you two could focus and have the quality time.
yeah.
What else came out of your research?
So after looking at the World War II record, I said, okay, I said, well, who is Ever Durham? You know, who is that? And Courtney said, I wonder if that's his mom. You know, just because her address was definitely different than Edgar's address. But also the key on that was Edgar, it had that he was in Greenville lined out.
Mm,
And then they put a Philadelphia address in it.
get
So I
out.
said, okay, well, let's look at the next document. We clicked on the next document. I said, well, what's that? We clicked on the United States Social Security application index and we pulled it up and it had his parents' name, Ever Durham or Ever Allen,
Wow.
and then A. Durham. And we were like, okay, I said, well, so this confirms that the World War II record is who he says he is, and that Ever is his mother. But the next record, the next one that opened up was the big one.
okay, so then the fact that we found her maiden name,
Yes.
of course, so
Yeah.
then I was able to really jump in. And so I'm typing in her name and pull up all of the related records to her, which was census records, right? And so those census records also, in addition to that, were birth certificate and a link
Yes.
to an obituary
Oh my
to
gosh.
newspapers.com,
Yeah,
right?
And
Yeah.
what did you find in the obituary, Courtney?
Oh.
Because I know there's
We
stuff
want
in there.
everybody wants to know.
Yes.
So in the obituary, it listed her name, and then of course it said she was in Spartanburg, which is not far from Greenville County.
Uh-huh.
And then from on, it listed her husband's name. Because on the census record we found, it said Abe Durham, but his real name was Abraham. So
Okay.
that was some interesting information. And then it listed her children, and it listed the sisters and the brothers. So all of her sons, it was like a Mark, there was a Harvey, there was a Cover, Edgar Durham.
Oh, wow.
So I tried to
These
call
are
my
all
mom.
names you've never
These
heard
are
of
all
before.
names I had
Oh
never
my
heard.
God.
and the other linchpin, she passed in Greenville. The article was from the Greenville
Greenville
News, yes. But it listed her children where they lived, and Edgar was living in New York City.
So that
You
confirmed,
suspected that.
that's
right?
what my mom said.
But now the next big thing that she did,
There's more.
there's more.
There's a whole lot more. So hold on. So before that piece, so then I tried to call my mom because I wanted to confirm that I was finding and on the right path for this Edgar Durham, right?
Yeah.
So of course she couldn't hear me because we're trying to listen. So I'm texting her. And so she texts back and she's like, because I listed all the names, all of his sisters and brothers. Right. If any of these sound familiar that you met years ago.
Right.
And she was like, well, I do remember a Mark. That's Uncle Mark. That's Edgar's brother.
Wow.
I'm on the
Look
right
at
path.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look
okay,
at
I'm
that.
gonna have to call you later
Look
because
at
we'll have to
that.
talk about that later.
But
So
there's more.
Yeah, right. Wow.
So from that, she began, we high-five and we were
Yeah.
so excited. And the ironic thing is I kept saying, I am so happy for you. You now have confirmation. But there's more. Not only did we find his siblings, his parents, we now confirm New York City. We confirmed that they were in Greenville.
Yes.
But now we go back to Spartanburg. And she goes back another generation.
Yep.
And she's just finding more and more records on Abraham, his parents,
Yep.
on Ever, her parents, and the linchpin was knowing her maiden name.
Yes. Yeah.
That was the most important thing. But finding
So it's-
all those records.
The man's name is Albert.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
You opened up a whole nother generation.
What was this?
Like,
What did you say it took?
I think we were about an hour.
It was about an hour.
Yeah.
Chinese, it's like about 5, and we were there to about on that topic for about an hour. And then I had a question about something else, and so we segued to another. We would segue to another family member on my dad's side, and because I'm trying to find the paternal of the McGreens. And so Dante gave me clues on, well, maybe check and see if they were just Greer before they became Muggery.
right, yes.
And I said,
name changing.
Since you said that,
Yep.
I said,
Yep.
I have my I think it's probably like my third great grandmother. Her name was Narcissa Greer for a couple
Uh-huh.
of years on the 1880 census, and then 1900, and then on 1910 she was Muggery. On her death certificate, she is Muggery.
So,
So-
say that does happen often. I have a McWhite. And in census records, you'll see McWhite and then you'll see White. I also have McDaniels, and in some records, you'll see McDaniels and Daniels, same family. What
Yep.
their rationale was for that, I don't know, but it happened often.
It's funny because my story is like my dad, his last name is Tavon, right? So they got all fancy with it and made it all French sounding. They told themselves, they put a little apostrophe in there. Turned out it's actually just table. It came from table. The Taborn, which is the English last name.
Right.
So, and they're from North Carolina, but they, you know, some stage.
He knows everyone. He's related to everybody.
My father's people. But the point is, yes, name changes like happen all the time.
Don't
They
count
drop
anything
one
out.
letter, they drop one letter, and it can change the whole trajectory of your research. So you have to be creative and think about alternative spelling.
Right.
And that's pretty. That was good one.
Well,
That's a
and
good
then to
move.
your point, where you were talking about they could change a letter, alternate spellings on another
1870 census.
on the 1870s. And so we moved up to her to find her mom. Her
Okay.
mom, because on her death certificate, we found her mom's name was Sylvie Maton. But on the census
What's the
record,
last name?
the Maton on the death certificate said Maton.
Okay.
On the census record, it looks like Moaton, and then there's a Moton. And so there was a whole listing of others. I did not assume that they were family members, but
In looking at it, you know, family members lived in pockets. On this page were 3 households with 3 different spellings. As she Moaten, Moton,
Right.
and then one with Morton. But they were all on the same
Think of
page.
being a possible. Yep, that's
Right.
right. That's right.
So for our viewers and listeners, what are some tips that you'd like to share from this? From your experience?
Don't discount anything. And then also think outside the box. She had the 2 records already saved. She had looked at them before, but she just didn't go further. So then we, you know, sometimes we create our own brick walls, right? And the brick wall in this situation was not that we didn't know anything. It was the uncertainty. Is that the
And
right
go and
person?
taking that extra step.
Taking
And
the
what I
extra
love
step.
about this is just collaborating.
Yeah.
yes.
Having
Yes.
a conversation
Yeah.
and going, oh, well, let me help. I couldn't stay. Because we were ready. We were like,
Yeah.
to figure this out. And I was like, she's in good hands.
Yeah,
She's in good
my
hands.
3 words in genealogy, I hold on to this dearly. Collaboration, communication, support. You
Yes.
gotta collaborate.
Very clearly.
Collaboration, communication, and support.
Yeah.
Have your CCS.
Oh, yes, yes. CCS, yes. You sure?
And
Yes. Because it in this genealogy space, and especially in African American research and anything with slavery era research, we have to collaborate. Name changes, spelling changes, movements. You got to communicate because Dennis, you may know something I don't
Exactly.
know.
Right.
Courtney, you may something I don't. Jenna, you may know something I don't know. I may have a nugget, and we all bring a different tool to the collaborative effort. And then the other thing, of course, we all know, just supporting one another.
Yeah.
I was so excited, but my excitement was for her because it provided
It shifted. I'm supposed to be
confirmation
here to
and
help.
it
Right.
sparked something that her mom gave back also. Was she gave her mom a piece of information and her mom was like, yes. So without the communication, without that collaboration and supporting, it makes a
And
difference.
moving forward, just like, okay, let me take another look. That's the other thing I say. You may have something, but to periodically take another
Yes.
look. One thing you mentioned yesterday when we were speaking, and that was about researching the area. That's some of the work that you were doing, right? Can you speak to that in terms of researching areas?
Yeah, so it ironically how we segued into the other ancestry journey. Yesterday, she mentioned Abbeville. I was like, Abbeville, oh, well, you need to be looking at the whole 96 districts. She was like, what? I said, well, with Abbeville, Greenwood, McCormick, Saluda, Marion, Edgefield. I said that whole area was a part of the old 96 district in South Carolina. I said, so with your McGreers, because she said, they so elusive. She said, I don't know what they're doing. I said, well, just so you know, I said, if you not find them in South Carolina, go across the river and no, Georgia.
In Tennessee.
And that's
Tennessee.
because there's
Yes.
such a lot of people, because think again, here's a nugget. Transportation back in the old day is not the way we think it is today. We travel by highways, we travel by automobile. Back then, it was by horse and buggy or riverways.
Right.
So a lot of people went back and forth to different areas because of the access to the water.
And a lot of people they just think, oh, well, this is where my ancestors came from, and they stay there. When you are not finding them there, look, like you said,
Yes.
nearby in North Carolina and South Carolina, you speak one state, and there was a lot of movement between North Carolina, South Carolina, or the Carolinas with Tennessee.
Yes.
I love what you said about the 96 district. Is that what you
Uh-huh.
I didn't even know to use that terminology. Like, so how did you get into identifying districts?
So in the South, the southern states predominantly, Carolina, Georgia, they did things by districts. Maryland and Virginia and Louisiana specifically did things by parishes.
Right.
Mainly because of the heavy presence of Catholicism and then expansion of Episcopal. But with the districts in old colonial records, so we're talking the 1700s, early 1800s, you will see things identified more so by district versus county. But then fast forward to 1830s, 1840s, and the 50s and on forward, now those areas, they're establishing county lines. So now the records shift from being the Edgefield district to Edgefield County. So you got to know the history of the counties.
Because I have county maps. And I'm like, now I need to get district maps.
Yes, yeah. And take a county map and look at the district map. That's another nugget to help expand your research, to tap into those records you might not be paying attention to because you're looking for the county name versus the district name.
This is where location matters.
Yes.
In your research.
What's the knowledge right here?
I'm not,
These
I mean, he
two-
presented,
I think it was our January meeting of last year.
That's awesome.
And we said, wanted him to kick it off for us, and the feedback was phenomenal. But we are so excited for your find. What's next for you? What's your next step?
Well, I'm gonna keep digging. Right now, last night I couldn't sleep, so I was digging even further, finding the obituaries for each of Edgar's siblings to see if I could find out the names of their children. Because then that would give me more information, because my mom did do her DNA. So we did it on 2 of the platforms, and so it's out there. But now that I have some names, I can go back and look at the DNA to see if maybe they did their DNA and make that final connection to confirm that is your
That's
father.
the fan club.
And make sure you put everybody in the
Yep.
tree. Everybody
Yep.
from the
Mhm.
obituary.
And I did.
Put them in the tree, and AI, the AI technology that Ancestry is using, it'll go and start gathering information
Yep.
for you. So you definitely want to look at that on a regular basis, and I believe you're going to get all the answers
Absolutely.
that you're
Yeah.
looking
Yeah,
for.
I
Yeah.
started my tree last night, just for the Durham side, so yeah, I'm excited. Yeah.
So is there anything else that you'd like to share with listeners before we close out?
So this is my encouragement to everybody. You are your family's greatest resource.
Love that.
You are, and everybody has a story. So tell your story, whether it's in written form, oral form, whether it's video, whatever. Tell your story because it needs to be told, and it's important.
Well, thank you, Courtney.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dante. This has been a wonderful
This is awesome.
conversation.
Coriano, did you want to have some last words?
No,
Okay.
listen, Dante said it all for me.
That's good.
And we're, congratulations to both of you because this is the first time that we've ever done a live recording.
And a long, well, at RootsTech, but a live recording in a long time.
We're ready to share. So thank you.
Get off. Thank you. Yes. Awesome. All right. Well, that was that. Thanks for listening. And